Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I wasn't even facing you either. I
Hi,
thought you
BJ.
took it over my shoulder.
How are you, dear?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, action. Yes, the Skagit Community Advisory Committee meeting will now start. We will begin. It's called to order. And let's go ahead. Cheryl, are you ready with the roll?
I'm actually going to be doing.
Okay. All right.
So first up, Doris Brevoort. All right, Doris hasn't. Oh, there's Doris right there. She just walked in. Roy Brock. Oh yeah. Right. Yep, right. Sorry. BJ Carroll. Craig Edens. Louise Edens.
Here.
Madeline Hanslick.
Here.
Robin Gosney. Oh, and there's some folks trying to sign in online. Okay. So welcome everyone who is joining us online. We just started roll call. And everybody who joined, I don't think anybody's missed. Robin Gosney. Chris Jones.
Here.
Judy Jones.
Here.
John Norman.
He is excused.
Okay. Monette Parton. No Monette. Dick Phillips. Dick is here.
One.
Valerie Rose. All
Here.
right.
Thank you.
Dave Stevens is absent this evening. And Daniel, can you let us know you're there? Ooh.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Can you hear?
Daniel.
We can, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We're just doing roll call. Thanks.
All right.
All
I
right.
think I followed right along with you with all of this. And like I mentioned, John is excused for this evening. And did you get that email from me?
I believe so.
Okay, now Manette, did she sign in?
She did not.
All right, so everybody else is accounted for. Okay, introduction of guests.
So this evening, we have two guests with us, Sam Zimbabwe and Haley Bray. They are consultants who will be doing a presentation here shortly on our long-range transit plan. They are both consultants with the firm of Kimley Horn, who is our on-call planning and engineering firm for Skagit Transit. So I will let them talk a little bit about themselves and the plan when they come up here to item number 5. Oh, sorry, item number 7.
Okay, well, welcome you both and thank you for taking the time to come to our meeting. Very good. Now, do we have anybody in for public comments? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the meeting minutes for January. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes as they were submitted? Okay, hearing none. Does anyone want to put a motion forward?
I so move. This is
Okay. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay,
Motion by BJ, second by Chris.
correct. It's been moved and seconded by BJ and Chris that the minutes be approved as submitted. In favor?
Aye.
Same sign for opposed. Okay, thanks, guys. Very good. Now we come to what we appreciate that Brad and Cheryl are doing.
Yeah, so Skagit Transit just wanted to give you guys a little token of appreciation. We know it can always not be a lot of fun to come to our meetings. We're having wonderful weather today for a February where it's sunny and warm, and not like some of the meetings that we've had to try to get to in the past. And you guys have all stuck with us through COVID and through the Zoom, and when the Zoom didn't work, but kind of worked, and all the stages of Zoom in between. So we just wanted to say thank you. So we've got some gifts, coffee cups that Rogelio's giving out, and we will make sure that we get them out to the folks who are online or who are not here.
Well, that.
And I'd like to point out that Crystal Stidham, the CEO for Skagit Transit, is joining us online. Crystal, I'm just, we're on item number 5, which is our token of appreciation for our members. And so also, those of you who are online, we had some snacks here tonight. We had some cookies as well as some dessert loaves with some water here as well. So you guys missed out on that, but we will make sure that we get you your coffee cups and other items out to you guys as soon as we can. And so we really appreciate you guys, sticking with us and helping us out, especially on things like we've got coming up tonight with the long range transit plan. So, and with that, that concludes item 5.
Well, I want to thank you so much on the behalf of the CAC. We appreciate serving and we appreciate everything that Skagit Transit is doing and that you take our recommendations and move forward with them. We appreciate the board. And Crystal, we are so glad that you have joined us this evening and can be part of our festivities and our celebrations. I'm just sorry I can't send a virtual cookie over there for you. But thank you all so much. We appreciate serving. Okay, thank you very much for all of that. Let's move forward to the next item. Oh, I lost my,
Yep.
thank you, I lost my place there. The long range transit plans.
We had to move some stuff around. So it's long range transit plan is next. So with that, I will introduce again Sam Zimbabwe and Haley Bray with our Kimley Horn consulting firm. That is the team that we've brought on board to help us with our long range transit plan. And I'm going to give permission to share to multiple participants. So now, Sam, anytime that you want to share your screen, you can.
Great. I have to both share my screen and unmute myself. So to do it, to get and make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I think, let me see, hang on one sec.
I do see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, but you were seeing it in the PowerPoint, right? Not the full presentation.
I think if you go in the PowerPoint,
I go that one,
5
there we go.
or
Okay.
F5. Okay.
Now how's that looking?
That's wonderful.
Okay. Well, thanks. And again, I'm Sam Zimbabwe, and Haley is my colleague. We are both, as Brad said, with Kimley Horn, and we're based in Seattle. So just down the road a little bit, and really excited to be here tonight with you all. So we're going to walk through a little presentation. We really want to make sure this is a chance for discussion too. So if folks have questions as we go, raise your hand or just interrupt, and we'll be happy to talk through things. So this is a set of activities that's going to get to a long range plan for Skagit Transit. And we're asking things like, how is transit working now? How could it work better? How can we grow transit in Skagit County? And how can we connect to regional destinations? How do we plan for some new opportunities? I think it's really important to reinforce that this is work that has been done before by Skagit Transit. The 2018 strategic plan process, came up with a number of recommendations. This graphic on the screen is showing all the things that sort of came out of that plan and where they are from an implementation perspective. So sometimes, you think about, oh my God, long range planning. How do we make come up with ideas that are going to get to things that we can actually implement, and Skagit Trans has done a great job of implementing ideas from 5-6 years ago and really working through those. So as we think about opportunities going forward, we're thinking about some longer term things, but also some ideas for what can happen right now and sort of keep things moving forward.
Excuse me, Sam, this is
Yes.
Judy. I want to let you know that we have, among our Zoom members participating, we have one on dial-in, and we've got a couple of blind people here in the Zoom membership. So if there are any details on the screen sharing you want to point out, please go ahead and verbally describe those.
Okay, I will do that. So this has a number of different things. Some of the things that have been achieved already is expanding the Route 204 to 60-minute frequencies, the Route 207 routing and schedule change, increases in frequency, sort of expansions, some of which have zero cost and some of which did have some cost associated with them. So a range of different things that have happened, and Brad, I'm sure, can talk a little bit more in detail about all the implementation that's happened over the last few years. But just wanted to reinforce that we're thinking about long term, but we're also thinking about implementing things now. There's 3 components to the study that we're doing and that will build into a long range plan. One is what's called a comprehensive operations assessment. And I'll talk in more detail about each of these. The second is a regional transit study, and the third is a microtransit operations analysis. So I'll come back to each of those and talk a little bit more about each of them and sort of what's entailed. What does that mean? So a comprehensive operations assessment is looking at the existing conditions of the system and how it's performing. And what we focus on is identifying near-term service modifications, opportunities using existing resources. So this is trying to say there's a certain amount of resources that Skagit Transit is deploying now, both vehicles and service hours. Are there tweaks that we can make and think about other ways to deploy those same resources, really? What's on the screen is an image of what we'll be producing as part of this operations assessment. This is a route profile looking at one route as part of the overall system and trying to put together some of the data that explains what the service is, how it's working, when it's operational in one easy place where we can look at all of the service throughout the county, and look at how routes compare to each other, even how individual stops within a route might compare to each other in terms of ridership. This is just illustrative, so we're still working through the data and the numbers that populate all of this information. But this is the type of thing that we'll produce that will give everybody, you all, Brad, Crystal, the ability to look across the system and see how the system is performing right now, and then where some of these near-term opportunities may be. The second piece of the study is the regional transit study, and this is looking at sort of the long-range service vision for intercounty services connecting Skagit County with Island County, with Whatcom County, and with Snohomish County. And this will be a collaboration among Skagit Transit, Island Transit, and Whatcom, and really thinking about where and how population and employment is changing in the county, and then the changing transportation patterns. Sound Transit will open in later this year up to Linwood, really starting to change how Snohomish County serves and what community transit is doing in terms of service connecting into Sound Transit. Community Transit continues to build out the Swift BRT system, and this regional transit study really will look at what those long-term opportunities are in terms of connections throughout the region, where people are trying to get to north and south. Pretty soon it'll be possible to have just a couple of seat ride from all the way from Tacoma up to Skagit County, even all the way up to Bellingham, and really thinking about what those long-term regional connections may be and how that feeds into Skagit transit system. The third area that we're looking at is microtransit operations. So this is sort of at the far opposite end of that regional big picture. Where are we connecting to with microtransit? And microtransit's an emerging way to think about transit service that agencies across the country are looking into and starting to deploy. It often uses alternative vehicles from traditional fixed route transit buses. More like this picture is of a smaller van type of service, and it can often be more on-demand type of service than fixed route. It might be there's different operational models out there, but it might be that you can request a ride and be taken from point A to point B, but a little bit more flexibly than paratransit service offers right now. A bit more dynamic in terms of the routing and connections. Usually these are deployed in areas, so not across the whole service area, but in areas where traditional fixed route service may not be viable, but something that's a bit more flexible could be. And again, there's lots of different ways that this has been deployed in other places across the country. Skagit Transit is coming in at a great time because a lot of those models are moving out of the testing phase into something that's more established. It's not necessarily the bleeding edge of this type of service, but can still be at the leading edge in terms of delivering service to county residents. So we'll be looking at places where microtransit could be part of the service mix, and also what the real operational model might be. All of these things come together in a long-range transit plan. That means a vision for the future of transit in Skagit County. It means potential near-term operational changes. And then it means a long-term service plan, including the types of capital investments that could support, as well as that microtransit operational vision that I talked about. And so putting all of these components together in one place, it's the next iteration of that 2018 strategic plan that I showed you the implementation checklist at the beginning, and really coming up with what the activities are that are going to get us to that future transit service. Where we are in this process, we're still at the very, very beginning of this. We are gathering all the data and doing that existing conditions assessment as part of the COA. We're just at the beginning of this conversation about what the future vision for transit is in the county, and then beginning the identification of future transit opportunities. I know you all have some suggestions that you shared with Brad, or you're sharing them with him today. We really look forward to those, and thank you for the time and effort that you are putting into working with Skagit Transit and with us as we start this process. I think that's all I wanted to sort of give an update on right now. I'm happy to open it up for any questions and discussion that folks have.
Well, and before we get into questions, there's a couple of items I wanted to add so that you guys can understand like our next steps, and also what we mean when we say things like long term. So we're going to go through this plan and this process, and we're hopefully going to have a final plan in October or November. Something that we're going to be putting in and requesting for grants for the next couple of years. But let's say there's something out there that says we should offer a new service and we need to get vehicles for it. So we would apply this fall. The legislature next spring would review the grants and decide which ones get funded and which ones don't. And I apologize to the folks online. We got a train coming. Hold on, please. Okay, the worst of it is past. So next spring, the legislature will decide who gets awarded money, and it won't be until next fall until we have it available to us. And then we're allowed under procurement rules to go forward and order a vehicle that may take 1 to 2 years to get delivered. So this is what we mean when we say things like, okay, yeah, Robin was trying to connect. So I admitted her. So these are, this is what we mean when we say long-term is we're talking about stuff now. And it may be 3 years, 4 years before we get the beginning things working. Because that's just how the process goes, where we have to get with the plan in place, we have to get grants, and then we have to order equipment. So that's something that's how these kind of projects flow for us. And with that, I will open up and join Sam for your questions.
One question, this is Judy speaking. I was wondering, Brad, if you would be able to screen share that Skagit Transit CAC route and service recommendations so that he could see those.
Absolutely. So Sam, I'm going to pull yours off. And I'm going to, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Here. Okay, so, and I apologize, our train down here is being extra noisy for us this evening. And it's a long one too, yeah. So some of the things, and I will.
It's not coming through the audio for me, so don't worry about it too much. I know it's probably loud there in the room, but it's fine online.
Okay.
Ooh, this one's
So
shaky.
some of the items that the CAC has mentioned in the past and brought up are extended service hours countywide, particularly in the evenings and in Anacortes. A service needs assessment conducted for Hillcrest Park area of Mount Vernon. That area is seeing increased use, but right now it's sort of a void for bus service. A service needs an assessment conducted for improved service for the Mount Vernon Food Co-op, which is in downtown Mount Vernon. Ride on demand service for those taking the ferry service in Skagit County. Increased service on routes 90X and 207. And then one of the 90X morning runs may be looking to see if it should go directly to the South Everett Park and Ride for those needing to get to their light rail connections to Linwood instead of Everett Station, possibly replacing one of the Everett runs. And then some of the others looking at a stronger online presence and capability, as well as maybe other IT staff to help the agency have a better online social media ability. And I think that's the big ones.
There was also printed service change schedules.
Oh,
Did you look at in
yes.
there?
And trying to get printed service changes, such as writer guides out earlier to writers.
And then there was one about, I think the last one, improve marketing of service changes to those not online.
Okay. So those were the big items that I'll be sharing with you, Sam, that have come out. Of course, we may have other stuff come up tonight. So does anybody else have any questions and comments?
I would like to ask if anybody, like I sent out this list, and this list was culled from the minutes from 2023. I just went through and took note of the suggestions. It just made it in this bulleted list. So if I missed anything, please let me know or if there's anything you'd like to add at this time.
I would like to
Valerie,
add something.
fantastic. Hi, Norm Spreevert from Mount Vernon. I just want to thank you, Judy. That list pretty much taps into most of the things that we had discussed, and almost everything that I had suggested is on it. So thank you.
And Brad, this information, after we develop our team develops the long range transit plan, we will implement many of these into our TDP, right? Our transit development plan.
That is correct.
And then Ray, I thought I heard someone down there try to speak on the other end of the U. Oh, okay. Did we have any other comments? Louise, do you have any questions?
Is there any way to improve service for some of the special events that go on in the county?
Good question.
That is something that has come up, and Crystal and I have been talking about special events and things that are out there. Can we do detours to try to maybe get routes closer to one-time festivals? Or things that happen on an annual basis. And trying to find a balance with that with our regular service, because a lot of folks count on us being consistent from day to day, but then we do also have these special events that come up that maybe people want to go to. So do we need to look at adding something different on those days, or is there some way that we can adjust our routes so that we can be both consistent and serving special events?
This is Valerie. I'd like to add that to some degree, we already provide service to some of the special events, Berry Dairy Days, the county fair here in Mount Vernon. It's a matter of marketing the existing service and working with the people who are putting on various special events so that transit is really highlighted and promoted. I'd love to see that be an integral part of future planning.
Great.
And I'll
feedback.
just echo
Thank you.
what Doris said, that Judy, you've done an excellent job of gathering the highlights of what we've been talking about for several years. So thank you.
Thank you too.
Well, I'd like to say one example of annual things would be the Tulip Festival. And Haley and Sam, if you haven't been up here in April, you can just see what happens to the traffic between Mount Vernon and LaConner for a whole month. And isn't there a way that something of public transit or Skagit Transit could inventively contribute to that instead of just passing it by and not having any help? I think there are opportunities that for some things that have just never been tried.
There is an eye in traffic, and I have been in that traffic. So
This is Robin, and I was listening on the phone for a while, and I apologize disrupting the meeting a bit, but I am on the Zoom now, and it's good. The question I have, or the concept that I have, is whether we would have even an extra opportunity to take someone to a special event. If we have an extra vehicle, do we have enough of the paratransits to schedule one of those to go back and forth, maybe a short distance several times on a certain day? Or is there any room for that sort of thing?
It would depend on exactly what our needs are. I'd have to talk to our operations and maintenance team to find out what we have for resources and what was going on with a specific event.
Ah,
Okay, are there any other questions?
Well, I'm not sure if it's okay for me to make some comments about the connectivity between Mount Vernon and the new link station to be opening this year in Linwood, because I've been commuting for a number of years. And I'm the person that put it down there about, aren't there ways to get a commuter faster down to the new link without going through Everett, which takes about a half an hour of commuter time and pretty much precludes most people who are not diehards from ever taking transit to commute to Seattle. And if we could help that, I think it would be something really kind of mind-changing for Skagit Valley to get people out of their cars. And in terms of global warming, I think it's just important what we can do to help people to get from here to there and there to here. So I had been trying to brainstorm ways that we could get somebody down to Linwood, quick enough so that you could actually commute. I mean, it'd take me in 2 hours in the morning, if on a good day, for me to get down to my job in Seattle. And really, I mean, I grew up on the East Coast and you get on a train every hour and you get where you're going in 40 minutes. So, I mean, this is just brainstorming. But I was thinking of ways that we could communicate with Sound Transit to connect, so that was what I was meaning. If the 90X could go down to the South Mount Vernon Park and Ride, where someone can get on a Sound Transit Express to Linwood, for example, without ever going through Everett Station, which going down 529 and down Broadway and stuff is charming, but it's not something a commuter wants to do every day. And that was where that was coming from. And also the connectivity with community transit in Snohomish. For example, I used to go to University of Washington. There was no way to get down there from here. And so I had suggested, this is years ago, that maybe there could be an on-demand stop at Marysville for a university student to get onto the freeway stop and be picked up by the community transit bus that went directly to the university. Of course, this is before the light rail, but anyway. And then my answer was, no, community transit doesn't want to take a Skagit. We can't really do that, because then community transit are afraid that they'll be stuck with, I don't know, Skagit commuters or something. So I'm sure that's going to be old school in all the new, opportunities that are available through the light rail. Hopefully the golden egg will be cracking and light will come through. But just wanting to say, I think that there are some opportunities to get people to a place in Snohomish where they could get a good ride if that were available. And I hope that this whole new connection study might also study ways that we can interplay with the other county agencies. And that one other thing I was going to say about the ferry is that I think that there should be more opportunities for Skagit Transit to bring people from Seattle, even if they got off the train at Skagit Station, for them to get to a ferry. And that might be on demand, because buses and ferries are also wicky-wacky of their schedules. But I just want to throw that in there because I think that there's a very untapped opportunity. Thanks.
The thing that strikes me with this, thinking about getting to the light rail quickly, it seems like it's going to be a win-win for Skagit residents and a win-win for Sound Transit if we can just sort of circumvent the Everett run that way and just work on getting a straight connection. Because we're going to have more population, Sound Transit's going to, grow, and it just seems like it would dovetail right into each other and meet everybody's needs. Okay, any other comments?
Madeline, I saw that were you trying to make a comment earlier?
No, I was just gonna whine about service on the east side. We never get enough, but I don't know if we can justify with ridership. So the fact that we have to wait 3 hours on Saturday between buses precludes me from pretty much doing anything. And no Sunday service. I'm just not used to that kind of service because I've never lived this far out.
So Madeline, in detail, say which, when you're saying east side, can you say like
I'm in
which?
Concrete.
Okay.
So it's the 70X that
There you
takes us
go.
from Cedro Woolley out to here.
Mhm.
And thank God
Madeline.
they started going to Skagit Station because Cedro Woolley is kind of a dead end that you've got to transfer somewhere else. So that was a nice move.
Madeline, please don't think you're whining. That is actually one of the things that I brought up to this team is that 3 hour service is not, people don't want to ride a bus that runs every 3 hours, right? So,
Well, we also signed up for that living this far out. So we're kind of aware that we don't get top
you're not supposed to say
services.
that out loud.
Well, it's true. We get snowed in, there's a lot of things that affect us out here. So we try real hard not to whine, but it would be lovely to see. And I don't know if increased service would increase ridership. I wish I knew that answer because then I would definitely push for it.
I just want to say, I think if you build it, it will come. Because there are people up the valley who do not have vehicles and would like to get back and forth. And maybe that's something that could be explored in the microtransit section of the reevaluation.
Well, the only thing is it's that far, even for microtransit, you're asking them to come 28 miles minimum one way. So we would really have to justify that, which I would be concerned about.
And I don't know that microtransit would necessarily bring people out of Concrete. We're looking primarily at microtransit, right, Sam, kind of being a feeder into our, it's zoned. Microtransit is typically zone based, so it wouldn't necessarily take you, for example, to Skagit Station or Mount Vernon or Cedar Woolley rather, but it would be more like to take you to the 70X.
Right.
It could be that we operate a micro transit zone in the Concrete area that gets people to the park and ride where they can connect with the 70X. I mean, that could be a potential service scenario down the road. And then that way there's more of a flexible way to get around Concrete, as well as a more flexible way to meet the 70X.
We already have that, but the flex, the 717 is currently a flex and it's not really pushed. So people don't know that. So that's kind of built in, but I have actually never seen anyone use it.
Yeah,
I've thought about using it myself, never have. So I know that's kind of a bridge to doing what you're talking about, but if it were successful, I'd agree with you. Because it's not been pushed, I'm a little concerned whether that would be worth it.
Yep, it's something we definitely have to really think through.
Especially if we can reach out to Marble Mount and beyond. They have no transportation whatsoever. So it stops at the bridge past Concrete. And we have a lot more people living out there, Rockport, Marble Mount. So that is a good concept for microtransit.
Well, I know, I think 2 or 3 years ago, Marble Mount, speaking generally here, gave up their service. There's little bit of service they had. So could be that things have changed and maybe they'd like to have some back, especially with microtransit coming in.
This is Valerie. My understanding is that it's not that Marble Mount gave up their service. The Skagit Transit offered service, I believe it was twice a week, and it was barely used, and we couldn't justify the enormous cost. So it's quite a challenge to, provide service. There's always talk about, oh, we need to have more service upriver, and when we do offer it, we're not seeing the ridership that we need to justify the very substantial cost. I'm always telling people about the 70X, and I'm always amazed at how many people have never heard of it. it's quite a challenge, getting through car culture and the assumptions that people have and trying to reach people who are geographically dispersed and who get their information primarily from online sources and from TV. It's just doesn't, it doesn't make sense to try to take out an ad campaign on the media that many people are many people are using. Yeah, it's quite challenging. I will say that the Concrete Herald newspaper, I'm so grateful it exists. It is a way of connecting with people upriver. How, Manette, would you say, do you feel that the Concrete Herald is a useful vehicle for reaching people?
Monette's not here this evening.
Madeline, for Madeline?
Or, oh, did
Madeline,
you
I
mean Madeline?
apologize.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for,
Starts with an M. I answer. I think it's very viable. Not enough people read it. I would,
Mhm.
especially because they give it out free at Skagit Station. So I am surprised that more people don't. But I think it's an excellent tool. I just wish we could get more people paying attention to it.
okay. Okay.
And maybe if we said, you want to know what's going on for Skagit Transit, look at the newspaper. I don't know, but it's definitely a venue. And I definitely think it's an underused venue.
Okay.
Well, it sounds
Well-
like you have to start putting some special announcements on the marquee at the Concrete Theater.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, Judy,
Okay.
we are at 11
Right.
after, so we should probably,
And, okay, so, and Valerie, thank you for your comment there at the last. I appreciate that. So if we have any other comments, go ahead and mail them in to Brad and he will make sure that Sam and Haley get them.
absolutely.
And I appreciate you all joining us this evening.
And we're still at the very beginning of this, so really any comments are really great. At any point in the process, any comments are great, but we're still at this very early stage. Great
Okay.
to hear from all of you tonight and look forward to talking with you again.
And thank you. We'd love to have you again too. All right. Okay, next item of business is the bylaw amendment for Skagit Transit Board. And I have my copy. You all might still have yours. So Brad, how would you like to proceed? Or Crystal? Or is it?
It'll be me.
Okay.
I was gonna suggest that I could read the amended language and
Mhm.
then, which I believe we introduced last month, didn't
Yes.
we? And then we can proceed at your pleasure with a vote or what have
Okay.
you. So under section 3, paragraph 4, we then modify the next 3 paragraphs with new language that we talked about at last month's meeting. And so starting with paragraph 4, it says, the staff liaison will hold an orientation meeting with new members that will include an overview of the CAC bylaws. Paragraph 5, the CAC members are expected to regularly participate in meetings. The CAC must meet a quorum requirement, and excessive absences can interfere with the regular functioning of the committee. As volunteers, it is understood that other events can interfere with attendance from time to time. An unexcused absence is any absence not reported to the committee chair or staff liaison. Members can get absences excused by communicating to the CAC chair to request that an absence be marked as excused. Paragraph 6. Any member with more than 3 unexcused absences or 6 excused absences in the prior 12 meetings may be recommended by the CAC chair for removal from CAC membership at any time by a vote of the committee when a quorum is present. The chair shall report all unexcused committee absences and recommendations for removal to the committee and liaison. The committee liaison shall submit recommendations for removal to the Skagit Transit Board, which will consider and vote on any such recommendations at their next scheduled meeting. The decision by the Skagit Transit Board on a committee recommendation of removal of a CAC member shall be final. The purpose of member removal is not intended to be punitive, but meant to maintain an accurate and consistent quorum for conducting committee business. Reapplication for future committee membership by any member who is removed is welcome and will be considered. And that ends our changes to the bylaws. And with that, I yield back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I think there was a little bit of changes in the numbering, of course. Now our new bylaws have a Roman numeral 8 and not 2 Roman numeral 7s. So that was a good change to see. Okay, any comments on any of the changes? Any questions on the excused, unexcused?
The only concept I have on that is whether the excused absence could be something like I went through today. And just for some reason, my computer did not want to cooperate. So the excuse would be phoned in late.
Well, you're here, so
I am here, so
yeah, you
that's-
are here. So the whole idea is the communication piece. So if
Okay.
anyone knows that they're gonna be, not gonna be able to be here, communicate with me or Brad. If for some reason your car ran out of gas or something happened and you couldn't make it, communicate with me or Brad. And, you know, that will take care of the unexcused portion. And I think Brad and Cheryl actually do keep track of who comes and who is absent. And so the thing is, it's kind of on a rolling scale. Am I correct, Brad? Revolving
That is
scale?
correct. So it'd be like the rolling last 12 meetings, and it's not designed to be a high bar, I think, by those who
No.
had input. It's just to make sure that, you know, like the excused absences, if you miss 6 of the last 12, there's just stuff going on and we get it. I think everybody here understands life happens to us sometimes. You know, so maybe it's time to step away for a little bit and then maybe come back when things calm down. And it's not intended to be like the language says, it's not intended to be punitive. We're just making sure that we can always have a quorum so that the CAC can always do what they want when the time is, when there's meetings.
Okay, any other questions before we bring it to a vote?
I'd just like to say, Robin, I think everybody has a technical difficulty once in a while, and that those would be certainly, you know, we have power outage, forgiven, everything like that is pretty generously excusable.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
and the communication piece is key. You know, if for some reason you can't make it, it's good to communicate. Any other questions before we do this?
Oh, is there a phone number that we use to call in the case of placing an excuse? Because I think probably I might not have a phone number or a way to communicate on that case.
Yes, I'll send my phone number out by my direct line at the office. And even if I'm not there, if you leave a voicemail, our voicemail actually comes as an email through our system. And so I will get it on my cell phone. So it doesn't matter if I'm on the other side of the planet, I will get it. And so then I can communicate with Judy.
And I will make sure and resend my email and phone number out as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
any other questions? Okay, anyone want to forward a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Chris.
I move that we amend the bylaws as submitted.
I second.
This is Dick. I'll second that.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the bylaws be approved as amended. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? Oh, yay. Okay, finally, we've gotten these bylaws. All right, so now the next step is that these bylaws are gonna be written up and presented to the board, and the board will vote this next board meeting. And the next board meeting is a week from tomorrow. So if anyone wants to attend, make sure to log in on the Zoom. It's mentioned on the website. All right, thank you all very much for that. We put a lot of work into this. Now we've got the Route 615 educational.
Yes, this is just a quick item. I was hoping to get a, not right at this moment, but if you could let us know within a couple of days. Some of our previous meetings, there had been a discussion about having an educational excursion on the Route 615 on Thursday, April 4th. And Cheryl was hoping to get a head count for how many people would be interested in that now that we are getting a little closer to that date, so that she can reach out to those who are interested and start getting things organized. So again, that is for the Route 615 that leaves here at Skagit Station. It goes out to LaConner and then to March's Point. And it would be on Thursday, April 4th. So if that's something that you would like to participate in, please reach out to either Chair Judy or myself, so we can start getting that organized.
Sure. Now, really quick, is there anybody present who that Thursday, April 4th would not work for during the day? Thursday, April 4th. Where that would not work?
This is Doris. Judy, I've been working full time in Seattle, so I wouldn't be able to make it, but things could always change. And I have ridden the 615 myself at other times. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doris. All right, very good. Moving on to the staff report, ridership update.
So I will keep my remarks brief because our CEO, Crystal, wanted to add a couple of remarks this evening. So I wanted to just touch on these first 2 points. Real quick, ridership in January is a little off. We had some weather in there, and that always takes a toll on our fixed route ridership, and I can't blame our riders for not wanting to be out in it. Still looks like we had a decent month, and in the process of tabulating that now, we may still, we're going to be above last year, but it just won't be by much. I also wanted to let folks know that we have done some public outreach in the Fox Hill neighborhood, north of College Way in Mount Vernon. We are looking to add a small loop to the Route 204 in that area to extend service. Right now, we're driving past this neighborhood on College Way, and they have a pretty long walk to their bus stops that exist now. And we can't stop on College Way because the speeds are too high. We actually need to pull into the neighborhood where the roads are 25 miles an hour, and we can stop and pull over to the sidewalk there. So that's what we've got going on. And then my last two items, our office will be closed on February 19th, but bus service will be running. And then also, the long-range transit plan is going to be conducting a series of public meetings around the county, different dates, different times of day. Some will be on weekends, some will be on weeknights. I'm going to be getting that calendar out to you guys here in the next 2 or 3 weeks once we get it finalized. Our first meeting is going to be in Anacortes on Saturday, the 23rd at the public library in the afternoon. But the exact time is yet to be determined. So we would love to see the CAC members out there. It would be nice to have you participating. It would also be nice to have you guys help, and it would be great exposure for the CAC to have somebody standing there at the door and saying, "Hi, I'm with Skagit Transit's Community Advisory Committee. Welcome to the public meeting." And that's just great exposure for the group. And with that, I will turn it over to our CEO, Crystal.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. How's everyone doing today?
Very
Good.
well.
Pretty good.
All right. So the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to you folks about today is, I don't know if any of you have heard about Initiative 2117, but that is an initiative that was I can't remember the gentleman's name that initiated this initiative, but this initiative has received enough signatures and it's been certified. This repeals the CC Climate Commitment Act money that we receive funding for our transit support grant and our state special needs grant, which helps to fund some of our paratransit services. We of course cannot ask you guys or any of the general public to vote one way or the other on this initiative. This will likely go on the November ballot. But what all of the transit agencies across Washington have done, most of us are in an association called the Washington State Transit Association. We have authorized the executive director of the association to engage a marketing firm to come up with some consistent marketing for all of us in the state of Washington to start educating the general public about what it would look like for all transit agencies if we lost that money. So for Skagit Transit in particular, we would be looking at a financial impact of approximately $2 million per year, which right now is right around 10% of our operating annual budget. So, and would be hugely impactful for us. So, of course, once we get the marketing materials out, we will work to get those on our website, on our buses. All of us within the agency will be doing some community outreach, again, just to educate the general public on what that would look like if we lost that funding. It also impacts the ferry systems. All of the ferry systems will get money from that grant, and we're also supposed to get money for replacement ferries from that funding. We would also be losing $5 million in funding that we were hoping to finish building our new building with. So obviously, as advocates of public transportation, I wanted to talk to you guys about that. And hopefully Judy has always been great about being a partner. The whole board has, the CAC board, being a partner and a supporter of public transit. So I just want to kind of put it out there that that's what we're facing right now. And once we receive the marketing materials from the consultant that the association has hired, I'm hoping that you guys will also help us educate the general public on what this could potentially mean to all of us that rely on public transportation.
Really quickly, like if there's a lobbyist watching this initiative, a lot of times, you know, you can get emails sent in or information sent in saying, here's how you vote on this bill. And there's a link where you could put in pro, con, your name, address, phone number, and so on, especially before it gets into a hearing and the deadline. So is there a way to be able to keep track of where this is going?
So this is legislation that was, not legislation, excuse me. This was an initiative that was brought forward by just a regular citizen. This individual or his group received enough initiatives or enough signatures rather that it got certified. So it's my understanding that the governor can do three things with it. He can either make changes to it, which we don't anticipate him doing. He can just ignore it, which we don't anticipate him doing. Or the third option is for it to go on the ballot for the voters to vote on. So that is our expectation, is that it will go to the voters to vote whether or not to repeal Prop 2117.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions for Crystal on this? Okay, beware of that initiative, folks. Wow. All right. Okay, so I'm going to, if this is all right, the committee awareness section, we will go ahead and dispense with unless you all have anything that we need to hear.
I would like to say something, Judy. It's Louise.
Yes, okay, Louise.
Stuff the Bus food drive. I was glad to see it in the Skagit Valley Herald that we're participating in that. And I know I am planning to give them a check for $50 because I can't bring the food to them. But I'm going to give money, and I hope that you all will consider giving food for that, for the bus. I know we've done it before. This will be in Cedro Woolley, and the paper said February 20th through the 24th, and it said celebrate with Dick's Drive-In Food Truck, February 24th, 11 to 2. on Fruitdale Road in Cedro Woolley. So I hope you all can participate because I plan on doing it my way, and I hope that you can do it something too.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for bringing that up. I wasn't aware that was coming up, so thank you.
And on Saturday, that food bank is visited by the Route 300 in Cedar Woolley, as well as the Route 70X.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. All right, very good. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any further questions at all for Brad or anybody here? All right, very good. Well, it's 5:30 right now, so would someone like to put forward a motion to adjourn?
Good.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
This is Valerie. I propose that we make a motion to adjourn this fruitful meeting.
Okay, we have BJ and Valerie
Ray, and I second
and
that.
Ray seconds. All right, it's been moved in second, then we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, we are adjourned, and thank you all in Zoom world for attending and everybody for coming out to the meeting. And Brad, thank you so much for the cookies and the water and the
Yes.
cups. I'm
And
going to use that coffee
if-
cup.
If anybody is, we're happy to get them out to you via the mail, but if anybody would like to pick them up either at Skagit Station, your coffee cups, or at our offices in Burlington, just contact me directly or Cheryl, and we can make sure that like customer service has your mug, or we'll have your mug up front, and we can get that to you.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Happy Valentine's.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.